Okay, direct and indirect variation is what we're going to be looking at here. Specifically starting with direct variation and inverse variation. So, quick reminders, direct variation has this equation y equals kx. K here is called our constant of proportionality or constant of variation. You can even solve for k if you wanted to by dividing this x over to the other side. So you'd have k equals y divided by x. Right? And what this statement says is that y varies directly with x. Y varies directly with x. Or is directly proportional to x is something else you might have heard in the past. What this means is that as x increases, y increases, and as x decreases, y decreases. So they're moving together here, some sort of constant rate of change. And then we've got our inverse variation. Well, inverse variation has a similar looking equation, but it's y equals k over x. That divided by is your sign for inverse, or one of your signs for inverse when it's k divided by the variable k divided by x. And again, same thing. You could solve for k if you wanted to by multiplying the x to the other side, and you'd have k equals xy. What this says is y varies inversely with x, or y is inversely proportional to x, would correspond to this equation here. And it means that as x increases, y decreases, so they're going in reverse directions now. As x decreases, y increases. Okay, and so then these first four are just figuring out, is the relationship direct, inverse, or neither? And I'm going to have you write the equation for it. I highly recommend that if you've seen these problems already, that you pause the video, try it on your own, restart it as you're stuck or you are ready to check. And for those who this is new for, maybe watch one or two if you feel like you need to, but don't watch very many. At some point, make sure you pause the video, try it on your own, and restart it when you're ready. Okay? So first step, number one, are we direct, inverse, or neither? Well, first we have to see, are we increasing together, decreasing together, going opposite directions? Like, what even happens here? And so as I'm looking at my x here, my x goes from 0.2 to 0.5 to 1 to 1.5, which is increasing. And as I look at my y's, my y is going from 8 to 20 to 40 to 60, which is also increasing. And so since we see them going together, x increases and y increases, my gut instinct is that this is a direct variation, which is this formula right here, y equals kx. So I'm thinking it's direct, and I'm thinking it's y equals kx. But now we are only actually direct if that constant, that k, is in fact the same for every coordinate pair. And so I now need to figure out, okay, well what would my k be for each of these? And so again, dividing the x over, k is going to equal y divided by my x. And so for this first one, x equals, we're going to do 8 divided by 0.2, which is 40. And then same thing here, k equals 20 divided by 1/2, which is 40. 40 divided by 1, which is 40. And 60 divided by 3/2, which is 40. And so because these are all the same, because x increases as y increases, this is in fact direct, and my equation is y equals kx, and k is 40. And so that would be my equation. Okay, so I'm going to do number 3 next. Go ahead and pause the video, give it a shot, restart when you're ready. Okay, so first, what do we think it is? We've got x here, 0.5, 1.2, 2, 2.5. So x is increasing. Y goes 40, 12, 10, 6. Y is decreasing. And so my gut instinct is this looks like it's potentially inverse, X increasing while Y decreasing, so going opposite directions here. So I'm thinking it's inverse, which is this Y equals KX equation. I'm sorry, Y equals K over X. Okay, again, it's only actually inverse though is if the K is the same for all of my values. So if I multiplied the X over, K would equal multiplying the X times Y. And so for this first one, my K would equal 1/2 times 40 is 20. The second one, my K would equal 1.2 times 12, which is 14.4. And right there, it doesn't even matter what the other ones are. The fact that they are not a consistent K already tells me that this is neither, and so there would be no equation. Okay, sliding over, number 2. Again, pause the video, restart it when you're ready. Okay, looking at this, X, we have 0.2, 0.5, 1, 2, so X is increasing. And then Y, 40, 16, 8, 4, Y is decreasing, so this looks like that inverse equation, Y equals K over X, which means multiplying that X over, K equals X times Y. And again, it's only actually inverse if my K's are the same. So 0.2 times 40 is 8. 1/2 times 16 is 8. 1 times 8 is 8. And 2 times 4 is 8. And so this is in fact inverse. And my equation, Y equals K over X, my K is 8. Okay, last one, number 4. Go ahead and pause the video and then restart it when you are ready. Okay, number 4, we have 0, -2, 2, -1, 6, 1, 12, 4. My X, 0, 2, 6, 12 is increasing. My Y, -2, -1, 1, 4 is increasing. So looks like it's direct, Y equals KX. Dividing that X over, this would mean K equals Y over X. Okay, and again, it's only direct if the K is the same all the way across. So for this first one, we have K equals -2 over 0, which is undefined, so that's already pretty suspicious. If we were to check a couple others just to kind of confirm, -1 divided by 2 is -1/2. Okay, so we're pretty sure now, but as soon as we hit that next one, 1 over 6 is 1/6. Okay, and now for sure we know that this is neither. Those K's are by no means consistent, and so this is neither inverse nor direct. Okay, so that's the difference between those two variations. We're now going to look at what we can do with this. Because we've been writing our equations here, and really technically speaking, all you need is one set of points to write your equation, as long as you are sure it's inverse or you are sure it's direct. So given our equation here that we're going to continue to practice to find, we could be given a value. For example, find what Y equals when X equals 4. We'll say, okay, well, if X equals 4, Y would have to equal 2, because then 8 divided by 4 would be 2. And you can plug values in there and solve. Okay, so that's what this next bit is going to be, is just kind of looking a little bit more at that plug-in idea. Okay, so same thing. I'm going to recommend that you pause the video, try things on your own, restart them as you're stuck or ready to check your answer. Okay, so number 5. Number 5, they tell us that X and Y vary inversely. They're telling us that already, so I don't even need to check. Y is going to be K over X, inversely with X. Okay, and then X equals 8 and Y equals -7. Okay, we've got here our x equals 8 that's getting plugged in, -7 into the y. Right, 8 into our x. And so then that means if I multiplied that k over, or that 8 over, that k would equal -56. And I've got my equation. Y equals -56 over x. Okay. And so then what is y when x equals 2? Well, if I plug in 2 here, y would be -56 over 2, which is -28. Okay, number 6. Okay, number 6, go ahead and pause the video, give this one a shot. Okay, so number 6, we've got the ordered pair is from a direct variation. So direct variation means y equals kx. We know it's direct. We don't even have to test that. So this 4, 6 here, it is direct or directly related. And so that means k, if I divided that 4 over, would equal 3/2. We've got our equation. Y equals 3/2 x. So then the question is, we'll find the missing value. What would x equal when y is 4? Okay, and then solving for x. Dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. So if we multiplied by 2/3, we'd end up with x equaling 8/3. Okay. And so then number 7 is yours. Go ahead and pause the video, give it a shot, restart it when you are ready. Okay, number 7, we have the ordered pairs from an inverse variation. Okay, so we already know y equals k over x. Find the constant of variation. So we're finding k. Well, if I multiplied that x over, k then would equal x times y. In this case, my x is √2, my y is √18, which equals √36, which is 6. Okay, last but not least, we've got our joint variation here. So joint variation, z varies jointly with x. When we see that kind of statement, z varies jointly with x and y, that's telling us that x and y, two variables, are contained or are multiplied to that constant of proportionality. So z equals k, x, and y. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to address these two statements a little bit later on, but we're first just going to focus on this bit, the jointly with. So we've got two variables along with the k. Okay, so 8a. Go ahead and pause the video, give 8a a shot and 8b a shot, and restart it when you are ready or stuck. Okay, 8a. Write the function that models the variation. Z varies, so it's k, jointly with, so I'm expecting two variables with my k here, x and y. When x equals 2 and y equals 3, z equals 60. So when x equals 2 and y equals 3, z equals 60. What that means is that we can solve for k. 2 times 3 is 6, and if I divide that 6 over, my k is 10. And there's my function. Okay, so then what would z equal when x equals 4 and y equals 9? Well, if I took those and plugged it in, what does z equal when x equals 4 and y equals 9? 10 times 4 is 40, times 9 is 360. Okay, and then last but not least, numbers 9 and 10, we're going to be writing these in terms of a sentence. So here's where these other two are going to come into play. it is possible to combine some of these variations that we've been looking at here. So for example, if we were to read z varies jointly with x and y and inversely with w, you're going to see a combination here. Jointly, remember, means two variables with the k. So z varies, so z equals k, jointly with x and y. So x and y are both up there with the k. And inversely, which was the division one, inversely, there's division with w. Similarly, this statement, z varies directly with x and inversely with the product wy. Z varies, so z varies directly with x, so only one variable now with my k, as opposed to jointly, which is two variables with my k. So this is my x here. And inversely, so division, with the product wy. And so there's my wy there. Okay, and so 9 and 10 are just for us to kind of practice delving into writing those out, or writing those formulas back into sentences. And so again, go ahead and pause the video, give either number 9 a shot, and then pause the video again to give number 10 a shot, or try both of them and then restart it either when you're stuck or you're ready. Okay, so go ahead. Okay, number 9, we have R varies. And then the first thing we have to check is, do we have either a jointly or a directly? Well, to be directly, we would need one variable up here with the k. To be jointly, we'd need two, and I've got none. So I'm neither directly nor jointly. But I do have a division, so this is inversely with, and then it's the square root of t. Okay, number 10, pause it if you're going to. Number 10, we have z varies. And then you look at the top first, we have directly or jointly. We've got one variable, so this would be directly with the cube of x. And we've got a division, so we have inversely with, and then y is down there, so it'd be y. And those are your sentences.